Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of the house of David. Salutations to you brothers throughout the four corners of the earth, teaching us truth and righteousness and sincerity. To you Israelite foreigners, come back home to the truth. To those that passed on, serving the Lord, the dead in Yahweh Shai, shall arise first. To you sisters who believe, keep encouraging and supporting your brothers who out here teaching us truth. And always commemorate the sister who washed Yahweh Shai feet when you read the scriptures. I want to read a scripture real quick, then I want to discuss it. All right. Matthew 5:7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the Most High. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of the Most High. Now, what I want to talk about is something that I've always had near and dear in my heart in this truth ever since I was a young man in it. When I first came in this truth, I thought that there was some type of level of Israelite unity. And when I say Israelite unity, that meant something different from what it means now to me. Because I understand that there can't be any Israelite unity if, we just have different levels of understanding, and some brothers are willing to ride and die with their misunderstandings or their, I'll just say their understandings of certain scriptures. So in 2025, so-called 2026, I'm not looking for unity as much as I'm looking for peace among different Israelite congregations. We don't have to fight. We don't have to argue. We don't have to be sitting here constantly making videos on one another. It does nothing for us. When you really look at the grand scheme of things, we're losing more than we're winning by fighting. Again, I'm not calling for unity. I'm 100% against unity camps. If you have a camp that has two different camps or more that teach different doctrines, it can confuse the public. It can confuse the public. Because I've been in this truth a certain amount of time. Y'all know, since 2000. And I've literally heard different doctrines. I've heard Comfy and I don't know if the brothers from I don't even know what their name is. The brothers in Nostrum, are Yeruminim, teach that Manassites are the tribe of Dan. Literally, that's one of their teachings. I've heard brothers teach that Gypsies are of the tribe of Dan. I've heard, of course, you got the Old Testament only. You got the Negro only. You got the Hispanic only. You got Jesus was born of a virgin birth. Literally, you got so many fucking breakdowns and different beliefs within Israelite doctrine, so-called. You got Israelites that save the nations. You got Israelites that believe Cornelius is a heathen. You got Israelites that believe that sin is the MOTB. So you got a lot of different variations of people that call themselves Hebrew Israelites. But what I would like to see changed more than anything in the world isn't a unity between us, but for us to not attack one another personally. For us to start understanding that, hey, we're just different levels of understanding. It's not all of these Israelite leaders haven't sold out. Because I'm going to say this, if some of these niggas sold out, what the fuck do they got? If it was Israelite leaders living in mansions, like Comfy, I would absolutely say sold out. Nate, I would definitely say he sold out, only because multiple brothers have come and said that he's the one that brought, and brothers that don't speak to one another have the same story about him bringing the Rosicrucians to the school. So those type of things, I would say, yeah, definitely indicate that he sold out. I would even believe Johanna sold out. But Zabak, absolutely not. You know, he does and says some simple shit sometimes, but you know, he a sellout, I don't take him for. A sellout, I don't see that with him. Among others, I mean, Priest Danyala, definitely not. I would even go as far as to say he's not a Hebrew Israelite leader anymore, but Killer Priest, nah, not a sellout. I wouldn't say he's doing the right thing right now, but he's not I don't think he took a bag to purposely. I just think he's a lost nigga right now. You know, you got men out here that are just lost. You got men out here that are just not putting two and two together correctly with the scriptures. But I don't believe that all these Israelite leaders sold out. Like they took a bag to purposely. No, you got to kind of know when it's time to say, yo, you sold out, you took the bag, you're condemned, and yo, you can still come back because you're just genuinely lost. Because like I said, I see more brothers that are lost than I see sellouts. And it's weird because they're leaders, they've been around. You know, but they just simply have not trained their mind. I believe, honestly, a lot of men don't get the full doctrine because they haven't trained their mind to be in 3D. That's really why I believe a lot of men still believe in the Friday sundown, Saturday sun. There's hardly any camps that I know of, large-scale camps, that actually understand the concept of the Sabbath. Motherfuckers are still looking at the white man's calendar and saying, yeah, Friday, sundown, Saturday, sundown. The first elder that ever taught me when I came in this truth the other day posted a whole damn paragraph. If you know who I'm talking about on Facebook, he posted a whole damn paragraph trying to say that the Sabbath is Friday, sundown, Saturday, sundown. And he was a historian. Going back to One West, he was a historian. So it's kind of weird to me how now he believes that, well, he's been believing that Friday sundown, Saturday sundown. You know, but it's like we're shouting into the camera and we're not having these conversations with one another. Because I personally believe now that and I'm gonna tell y'all this, I believed in the Friday sundown, Saturday sundown until about 2012. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and I believed that the Sabbath was Friday sundown and Saturday sundown for a lot of my time in this truth. But now that I understand it, it's kind of like one of those things where you climb a difficult mountain, and once you've climbed that mountain, now you feel it's easy for anybody else to climb it. So it's the same concept for a lot of us that understand these things, right? We get to the point where we understand. There's a reason why it's called understand. Because once you've grasped the concept, once you understand, you don't just know, you understand. You know, it becomes simpler to believe. And then it's probably something psychological that makes you think, like, why don't everybody else believe it? Why don't everybody else see what I see? You know, so that's kind of what we go through in this truth. Even the basic Israelite camps, that are still teaching what they taught at the old One West, even those camps are out here looking at our people that are not in the truth at all and saying, oh man, it's so frustrating. How come you don't understand this? Well, you got brothers that deal with the full doctrine that deal with the same frustration. I get it. Why can't you? I've deprogrammed from Esau's Sabbath. Why can't you? Friday sundown, Saturday sundown is almost as bad as Sunday being the Sabbath. Or calling Sunday a Sabbath. You know, but despite all that, I am not saying that I want Israelite unity more than I want Israelites to just stop fighting each other. You know, we saw that fight between IUIC and ISUPK. That shit was ugly. That shit's bad for all of us. You know, I'm not pushing brothers to be all buddy-buddy. You know, I can be friends or cool with brothers in other camps because I have history with them. Not because I'm encouraging y'all to have cookouts and be all cool with brothers in other camps. I'm not telling all y'all to do it. I do it. I have a relationship with brothers in other camps because I knew them before I, you know, came to, you know, before I was part of Men of Valor. Y'all got to understand, 25, almost 26 years of history keeping Passovers with brothers. You know, I'm gonna be honest, man. You know, you can't. It's just brotherhood and things that have taken place. You know, like the only brothers that was there for me when I was locked up was Ephraimite Magun, Bon Yawasat, Maharakah, and DTA at the time. Those were the only people that gave a fuck about me when I was in jail, facing prison time. Over some, the person that basically is the reason I got caught up in that shit didn't give a flying fuck about me. And I'm not going to repeat. Y'all already know. You know, we've made up, like I said. You know, it's not about hate. You know, that's the thing. It's not about hate. If I can forgive that brother, why y'all can't, you know, not necessarily, like I said, not be friends or buddy-buddy, but hey, shalom, you know, because then at the very least, we can have communication about these camp spots. At the very least, we can have communication when there's something, you know, because a lot easier to judge a situation when you have communication, right? Rather than just speculate from outside looking in. Like, what did happen with IUIC and ISUPK? We know now, but we would have knew before. You know, different brothers scoping out spots. You know, men hadn't hit the spot for a few months. You know, things like that could be mitigated if we could simply communicate. We ain't got to be friends. I go to work every day. And I work with mostly people that I love and like. But there's people that I can't fucking stand that I got to work with. And I think everybody has, listen, it's what I call the spice of life. Everybody not supposed to necessarily like each other. You have people with different personalities in life. We get it. A lot of times, when I see beef between Israelite congregations, it's a clash of personalities. That's all it is. It's not as much doctrine as brothers think it is, because if it was doctrine, it would be handled different. Right? You can attack somebody's doctrine without attacking their character. Now, you do have Israelite sellouts. Like I said, that has to be addressed. I'm not saying be buddy-buddy with them at all. But when you got men out here that are just out here pushing and hey, maybe they don't believe the full truth yet. You know, maybe all it takes is for a conversation. But we're not even having the conversation because everybody doesn't want to communicate, doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to be the first one to break silence and say, yo, you know, hey, brother, you know, what you did, what you did here was off, you know, and we need to do better than that, you know, and instead of, but also to have that conversation, you have to have an accountable person. You have to have a brother that says, hey, you know what, I did fuck up. I shouldn't have did that. We could do a lot better. We really could. We could do a whole lot better. You know, but we have to do it. We have to be the ones to say, yo, enough of this fucking infighting. Because it is infighting. Where do you see one group of Muslims physically fighting another group of Muslims in America? They're all unified to a degree. Now, Rahman and whatever other Muslim mosque that's beefing in North, they're beefing as far as like they not, like Rahman is very strict. Their women wear either black or navy blue hijabs. You know, they're what I would say stricter, right? They don't beef in the streets. They don't fight amongst one another. You're not going to see them go at it to that level. Oh, this is our spot. No, they don't go to camp, but we shouldn't be fighting over fucking camp spots, man. If the minute we start fighting over camp spots, we are practically no better to our people than the Crips and Bloods or the GDs and Vice Lords. Once the topic of discussion, the point of contention is, hey, this is my spot. We've lost a lot once the conversation becomes about that. But anyway, you know, I hope that when we get closer to our new year, we start doing better. You know, like I said, we don't got to be friends, you know, but you got to look at it like this. Like I'm a brother that has had his heart broken by Israel, man. You know how heartbreaking it is when you see another Israelite group out there trying to push the word? And yes, they're not teaching the full truth, and no lie is of the truth. But you're sitting here calling the Most High the same thing, having so many things that bind us, but we decide to focus on the couple things that divide us, just for a simple greeting or just to have peace, because we should have peace. We shouldn't be sitting here looking at other camps like we want to kill them, because the other camps are looking at other camps like they want to kill them too. You know, not literal. You know, I mean, listen, you know, when One West split with House of David, I heard from a lot of brothers that, hey, they still used to salute one another. And then at one point, I guess One West got it in their minds that they're entitled to teaching the truth and everybody else is not, and everybody needs their permission. So then they started treating other men like their enemies and putting out fucking VHS cassette tapes called Purge Ye Out the Rebels, which I've never seen in its entirety, but it's stupid. It was motherfuckers going around, primarily Tazadakia, from what I saw, going around with a cameraman, going to different camps and saying, hey, where did you learn the truth? As if just because I learned the truth there, that I got to stay there and be mistreated. What you see now among Israelite camp leaders that went to One West, you see a lot of men that were abused, who had their credit card, who were asked to apply for credit cards, and they destroyed brothers' credits, getting camp vehicles and all the money that you thought was back at One West. It wasn't as much money as it was credit. Men using their credit cards for the school. Them credit cards getting maxed out. And the school didn't pay for them credit cards. You would have thought, hey, let's put a vehicle on your credit, or let's use your credit card to buy a camera to teach this word. And then, you know, it wasn't paid. That took place. You know, brothers was put up on sovereignty, told they didn't have to pay taxes. You know, all this stuff, a lot of stuff took place back at One West that I wasn't, you know, of course I never went there, so I wasn't privy to it. But I'll tell you this, I know plenty of elders that was there. And the story is the same. The story has not changed. You know, but you would think that all these men that were traumatized by the same thing would have a little bit more. But then again, some of the people that are traumatized by people that's still in leadership in Israel. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people got their hearts broken by Nate when he brought in the Rosicrucians, among other things. You know, you get heartbroken hearing all these things, because it's like, damn, I came here for righteousness. I came here for a change in my life. I come into Israel and come to find out these niggas is shadier than fucking white men. You know, but anyway, I digress, you know, but like I said, not asking nobody to unite, be buddy, unity camps, none of that shit. Just, you know, when you see each other on the street, man, shalom, you know, the doctrines, the difference in doctrines has to divide us, but the difference in doctrines doesn't have to make us hate one another. Because any brother is a correct explanation away from understanding. You know, the way I look at it is, listen, if you keep being brotherly, if you be brotherly to brothers, at some point you're gonna have brothers. These camps are gonna fail these brothers, and you have to be welcoming to a brother who came from a different camp, or you should be, because this is what happens. Let's say a brother in IUIC winds up realizing what the fuck's really going on over there. And then he starts looking, you know, hey, there's other Israelite groups with good brothers. So I'm not leaving Israel, but I got to leave IUIC. So they'll probably turn around looking around like, oh shit, you know, who can I link up with to do the work? You know, and then you get brothers looking, you know, hey, you know what? This brother I ran into a while ago. Let me talk to him. Bam. Next thing you know, you got a mighty soldier that used to be with IUIC with your camp. that now knows the full truth, and now you never know. It could be other brothers over there that are starting to see it, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute. I'm just gonna throw out a made-up name. Shammai left IUIC, got with this camp, and it's working out for him over there. Let me see, what this whole thing is about. So they come, they learn the full truth, and bam, next thing you know, the multitudes come in that way. Because I'd like to think that every Israelite that leaves the camp doesn't go back into the world. Some of them, I know for a fact there's Israelite brothers out there that are not doing the work only because they don't have a camp. They don't have a group of brothers that they trust. So they're damn near like pilgrims walking around this earth, maybe teaching individuals once in a while. House of Israel, man, we had a whole bunch of brothers. We had a whole bunch of brothers that used to come around. They didn't even really trust House of Israel. House of Israel was just the camp that provided that old school One West action in Times Square. But like I said, I hope and pray not for unity, but for us to drop the inter-camp hatred. Because you got motherfuckers out here still saying Happy New Year on the 2nd of December, of January. You got motherfuckers out here believing in Islam, Pan-Africanism. I listen to a lot of Brother Umar. Think he's a great speaker. If he didn't repeat himself so goddamn much, he would be a lot better. But anyway, so I'm gonna say shalom, and I pray that, like I said, not for brothers to come together that believe in different doctrines, but for brothers to just not hate each other and to at least have some type of a rapport. But with that, I'm gonna say shalom.